What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Villarreal versus Barcelona in La Liga. Boy, are the games coming thick and fast, and we're back in league competition, which is probably our only great chance of any success this season following our debacle midweek in the Champions League. Of course, the league form has been fantastic in terms of results. Maybe other things haven't been as perfect as that, but again, we hope to continue on the right path. Of course, we do have Clásico coming up in about a month, so we want to get, of course, as many points and keep the distance as far away from Madrid as possible ahead of that game, and this is another step in that direction. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 6:30 p.m. local time, so a little bit earlier than the usual 9 p.m. kickoff time, and this match will be taking place at the Estadio de la Cerámica, which of course is the home of Villarreal, and the referee for this match has also been confirmed. On the pitch it will be Mateo Busquets, and on the VAR it will be Iglesia Villanueva. Let's start off by taking a look at the league table, where Barcelona are currently sat in first place in La Liga on 15 points after playing 5 matches. We have 5 wins, a perfect record, a perfect start to the league campaign. We also have in second and third and fourth our Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and our opponents Villarreal, all on 11 points and all with the same record after 5 matches, and that is 3 wins and 2 draws. As you can see, Villarreal have outscored both Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid this season, but Atletico and Madrid have 9 goals scored, Villarreal have 11, so we're facing a team that's in hot form and having a great start to their season after their poor form in the league over the course of the past few years. Again, this will make it even more difficult than it is, especially with it being away from home as well. Now, take a look at those 2 other teams, the Madrid teams who will be facing this weekend. Real Madrid today will be playing the pricks down the road in Espanyol, and then tomorrow, I believe after our match, Atletico Madrid will be traveling to face Rayo Vallecano. They did smack them up 7-0 last season, but it could be a different atmosphere because we know how difficult it was. We did play there, of course, a few weeks ago, but Real Madrid will probably get the easiest 3 points of their lives at the Bernabeu against one of the worst teams in the league, and probably one of the worst clubs ever as well. But again, it's just a testament to how well we've done in the start so far this season. We have a 4-point difference between every other team behind us. We want to maintain that, hopefully even make it bigger. You never know. I could see Atletico maybe slipping up. The Real Madrid definitely not. So with them being at home against an easier side, we need to go out there and get this win to keep the distance as far away as we possibly can. But it won't be easy facing 4th place in a team that right now is in hot form. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Villarreal. Like I mentioned, so far in the league campaign, they've had a great start to their season. Of course, they had a whole week off, no European competition for them whatsoever, so they're coming in very, very fresh into this game, and of course, being at home as well, no need to travel. Now, the last time we did face them was back in January. What a time this was, where they beat us 5-3. I think the scoreline was very generous to how the game went, but of course, 20 minutes after this match, Xavi announced that he wanted to leave as the Barcelona manager. We were in probably the worst form I've seen in Barcelona over recent years since Xavi's come in. This is definitely the worst period we've had. You can say by the player ratings, just apart from Lamine Yamal and Gundogan, it's absolutely all over the place in terms of how the team performed. Of course, I believe Hector Fort was hooked at halftime as well. That's how poor he was in this game. It was just a calamity of a mistakes. Of course, in the away leg where we played at Cerámica last season, it was the second game of the season, I believe, first away game. We beat them 4-3 again. High score line, but I think Barcelona did deserve that win. I think the season before that we beat them 1-0 with the Pedri goal, I think around like the 20th or 30th minute. So we've done well at the Cerámica over the past 2 years, but still definitely a difficult stadium to travel to without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if you take a look at Villarreal's last 6 matches in all competition, in the last match they beat Mallorca 2-1, they drew 1-1 with Valencia, they beat Celta Vigo 4-3, they beat Sevilla 2-1, they drew 2-2 with Atletico Madrid at the Cerámica, and then a preseason game against Brighton where they got smacked up 4-0. Now, again, that game against Atletico Madrid, it is their first game of the season, so I think there's a bit of leeway to have with that, but again, against a tough side, bigger opponent at home, and end up walking away with a draw. But let's take a closer look at their last 3 matches in all competition. Firstly is the win against Celta Vigo 4-3, a very, very high scoring game. I think this is just before the international break, if I'm not mistaken. I remember watching the second half of this game. Of course, in this game, Mingueza scored an absolute rocket of a free kick from about 30 yards out. But it was I wouldn't say comfortable for Villarreal. I think Celta Vigo were just really clinical in this game, but I think Villarreal were the deserved winners. Again, they're still lining up in this 4-4-2 formation, what they've done now for the past, 5-6 years. They really rarely adapt to anything different. Again, they have new signings coming in as well, and some players leaving. Of course, Danjuma, who had a great start to the league campaign with Villarreal, is now at Girona, so they lost kind of that firepower in the front line. You have Alejandro, of course, Banya, who's been linked with Barcelona numerous amount of times. Sergio Cardona, who was linked with the move with Barcelona, got his goal in this game as well. It's a very balanced team with the youngsters and, of course, experience. And in this match, I believe they were deserved winners, collecting all 3 points. Next up is their 1-1 draw at the Mestalla. Now, we know how difficult this stadium can be. I did remember watching the highlights of this game, and Valencia had numerous amount of chances. We talked about Celta Vigo scoring their chances. Valencia did not in this game. They definitely could have walked away with 3 points. I would say Villarreal were a bit on the luckier side, getting a point from this game. Again, their goal was very, very clinical from Ayoze Perez as well, who's had a great start to their league campaign so far. He's kind of coming in, replacing Danjuma in that front line. Again, the back line has still been very consistent alongside their wide players as well. Of course, Araujo for returning to his former team, but it was a very, very even contest where you can tell the Mestalla definitely gave Valencia the edge, and I would say a lucky 1-1 draw, and a lucky point for Villarreal in this game to keep their unbeaten record intact. And finally, the last match in all competition was a 2-1 win against Mallorca away from home. Now, again, in this game, you could say they were very, very dominant. Mallorca, I think they scored a penalty early on, if I'm not mistaken, or it was a 1-1 where Muriqi ended up scoring. Perez did score in the end, I believe, in the 90th minute to get the win, but Villarreal were the dominant side in this game. So you can tell how their games have been going. A high-scoring win against Celta Vigo where it could have been more comfortable. I would say, personally, in my opinion, a lucky draw against Valencia, and then a narrow win against Mallorca, but it's the results on the board that matter the most, and they've been very, very consistent with how they play, how they set up, and how they are effective in areas, especially in the final third, and that was evident in this game where they did pick up, of course, 3 big points. So overall, final thoughts on Villarreal. Of course, they had a great start to their season campaign. They've been very effective. They're very well managed by their manager, Marcelino. Of course, we had time with him facing his Valencia side that beat us in the Copa del Rey final, even his Villarreal team. He's a manager that does get a few results against Barcelona, I do have to say, although at our home it's been a bit roughy for him, but away from home at the Cerámica, Mestalla tends to nick a result against us. He knows how to beat Barcelona. The game plan is really consistent. Just park the bus, counterattack, and pray things go your way, and then when it does, you look like an absolute genius. That's what he tends to do, and he tends to, of course, get that result in his favor. Now, in terms of players to look out for Villarreal, I would say they're a very balanced team. Dani Parejo, of course, he's very consistent. He's one of the veterans of this league. Alex Banya, of course, the wide midfielder who Barcelona have been following for a long time. He's absolutely brilliant. You have Ilyas Akumash, of course, on the right-hand side, former Barcelona player as well. Ayoze Perez up front has been super clinical for them this season. Sergio Cardona had a great start to his time with them as well. Raul Albiol somehow, some way is still freaking playing. Their goalkeeper as well, I believe, has the most saves in the league so far this season, so he's had a good start being effective, unless apart from Turtois that we have. So it's been a good start for them. Whether they continue it or not throughout this season remains to be seen, but they will make this game very, very challenging. I would say though the Cerámica has been quite quiet recently. They aren't really as effective as they are at home like they used to be, but when Barcelona comes to town, it is of course a different atmosphere, a different vibe to it. So they will make it difficult, they will make it challenging, and they're going to overload that midfield, and Barcelona need to continue dominating that middle of the park, or else if they do lose that midfield battle, they will not end up getting any decent points from this game. Time now to get into Hansi Flick's press conference reaction. He of course spoke to the media this morning for the first time, or second time should I say, following the defeat against Monaco, giving us a perspective of what we can expect in this weekend's match. And of course he gave us all the updates around the squad as well. So let's get and see what the gaffer had to say this morning in the presser. He came out saying that we analyzed everything and we saw positive aspects. It is true that we lost. We have to continue working with the same logic and approach the match in a positive way. They are the third highest scoring team. They are strong in defense and we have to be focused. It's nice to see them play well. We don't make excuses. 3/4 of the game we could have managed well. We had to take care of our players. We had to manage with these legs. The medical team is managing it well. We had to take care of players like Kounde and Pedri who have to focus on recovery, and that's going to be the most important thing for them. Then he was asked on Casado and Pedri, who did not train with the team. Today was more so of an activation session. It was a more so full intense training, just kind of recharge, keep the fitness and rhythm going. Casado and Pedri spent the time in the gym. They didn't really go out onto the pitch. And Flick said, I think they will be able to play tomorrow. Mark was not in pain and is better today. The same goes for Pedri. We had to take care of them and let them rest. He was then asked on the good start so far in the league campaign, saying that when you think positively, you always think that we will win every game. Good results encourage me to keep believing. I know that we lost against Monaco, and today we talked about how we defended. We defended very well. We have taught the players this is how to face good teams like Villarreal. They all know what positions to occupy across the areas. When there is good connection, you end up playing very well. Then asked on Eric Garcia, he said did you speak to him about getting the red card, fill him with confidence, all that sort of stuff. He said that, look, I have spoken to Eric Garcia because I know his situation, because he likes to work as a defender, but we need him to play as a 6. In training, he seems to be doing very well. In Monaco, these things happen, and that's just part of life in football. Then asked on the 8 casualties, the 8 players that are currently unavailable to Barcelona, saying that, look, it's not the plan to recover. I'm not counting on them. I'm only focused on those who can play, those who are active. De Jong is easily injured. The same with Gavi. I'm happy with his recovery, but they both need a bit more time. He was then asked about them being available midweek and stuff like that. Keep your eyes on Getafe. De Jong might be getting in the squad list for that game. Then asked on more signings, he said, look, I never think about new signings. There is a team and we have to show that we can play well. Every season, every team faces the same reality. There are always absences and we have to accept it. You have to focus on those who can play. Let them give 100%. That's what I see from everyone, that they give everything in training and they are on the right track. They was asked on Ansu Fati, saying that I hope we can see the best version of him when you come back from an injury. You have to adapt. We want to give him the opportunity to play because he needs to be a starter again, and he can help us a lot. On the Monaco game, said, look, you have to when you lose matches, it is obviously not positive. I'm not worried about what happened outside, the press or the fans, what they say. You have to analyze the match and be honest with the players, regardless of whether you win or lose. You have to deal with the defeat. I think it's not a question of the performance. So again, he's basically saying there that details led to that result, and again, it's all about reflection afterwards. Then he was finally asked this question. This is the second last question. I'm like, bloody hell, who's gonna ask him about Ter Statue? Finally got a question on Mark about his performance and stuff like that, and Hansi Flick said it is one of Ter Stegen's strengths, not only stopping the balls but having it at his feet. It is part of our style, and this is often and it often starts with Ter Stegen at the backs. Errors are human. You have to learn. You have to analyze it. I hope I have given clear orders so that it does not happen again, and I hope it doesn't happen again. I mean, yes, we're humans. We make mistakes, of course. When you concede 6 goals in a season and 4 of them are your fault, I think there's more than just human error in that kind of regard. And finally, he was asked on Balde, his development and how he's doing so far. He said, look, he's an important player for us. He's doing well. He can still improve. He always gets involved. He has a very good performance in attack. I love him. He has a lot of room to improve. He's a key player for us, and he also can be a very key part for the Spanish national team as well. And that concluded Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Villarreal tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict his lineup, I'm going to keep this very simple. I think he will pick the exact same team that he started against Monaco. I think he wants to keep it fresh. I think he wants to keep the momentum and rhythm going. And I also feel like he wants to show everyone how this team can play with 11 men, how well we can compete and how well we can dominate a game. The fact that we narrowly lost to a very good side like Monaco with a man down is a testament to how well this team has defended and has grown overall. And I think Flick does want to show that. I also don't think anyone right now is touching the starting lineup. I think there could be a change for sure. I think the only certainty is the back five, Eric Garcia, the wingers, and the striker. He could maybe make a change in midfield with Pedri and Casado maybe having a little bit of knocks, but if they do, who do you bring in? I mean, he could start Ansu. I don't think he will. Then maybe, move Raphinha in the middle, and then that way you can rest Pedri. Will he start Paul Victor? Probably not. Will he start Hector Ford? Probably not. I mean, apart from that, we really don't have too many numbers to rely upon. Of course, Ferran Torres is suspended for this game, so what can you do, bruv? It's a delicate situation. The Fernandez cousins ain't starting this game either, let's be honest. He could maybe play Eric Garcia in defense, rest Kubarsi, and then, drop Pedri deeper, move Raphinha in the middle, start Paul Victor, Ansu, whatever he can do as well. So there can be some movements in this team, but in terms of the, 11, barring this plus minimum one change, I don't see Flick changing much, and this is the line that I think the Hansi Flick will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Hansi Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach, and I have made a few changes from Hansi Flick's lineup selection. I have gone with this lineup on the screen right now. I've gone with Inaki Peña in goal, a back four of Hector Ford, Jules Kounde, Inigo Martinez, and Alejandro Balde. Midfield three of Eric Garcia, Casado, Pablo Torre, front three of Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Ansu Fati. You're probably thinking, Barca boy, what the freaking hell are you smoking? Look, we have a lot of games coming up, and this for me would be a good time to make a few tinkers. You have Getafe coming up, Osasuna, Young Boys. These are results where you want 3 points at home. El Sadar Stadium is always tough. You have to bounce back in the Champions League. So this for me would be a good opportunity to rest. I know the Villarreal are coming to this game super fresh, but it's kind of the choice I've made. So I wanted to rest Kubarsi, so I moved the Kounde to the middle and brought in Hector Ford since we don't have any other center backs. I've started Casado because once everyone comes back from injury, De Jong, Christensen, Gavi, he will most likely drop to the bench. So I'm trying to rinse him for minutes as much as we can for now. Of course, Estadio is getting dropped. I'm not freaking stupid. After that performance, it would be embarrassing, disgraceful, and a shameful act to start him. I understand he's the captain, but I do not give a flying freak. Pablo Torre in the 10. I want to give him a runabout, man. I think he's done well in preseason. He came on against Monaco. Good touches, good movement on the ball. I want to give him a movement I want to give him a start from the beginning around, top players as well. See how he performs. I move Raphinha to the right, of course, to rest Lamine Yamal. Of course, Raphinha did not go to Brazilian national team duty, so he's still, I think, peak performance. Lewandowski, of course, fit as a monster, didn't really do much as a striker, and was, of course, subbed off early. I've gone with Ansu on the left. I would maybe play him for only an hour, but he excites me more than Paul Victor, I'm going to be completely honest. So if you want to start Paul Victor, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. But I've gone with Ansu basically for hype and vibe. So few changes here. I don't think, again, this is realistic whatsoever, but I would love to see Flick at least make a couple of, surprising changes. Maybe bring Hector Ford, Pablo Torre, just to really shock things and, gives a bit more excitement. That's kind of the approach that I went for in this selection. And that's the lineup that I have selected for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you'd rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? Since the 1-1 prediction has fallen against Monaco, I'm not going to go back to regular actual predictions. I think Barcelona will narrowly win this game. You can do a 3-2 score margin, 2-1. We're definitely 1,000,000,000%. I can guarantee you for free, we ain't keeping a clean sheet with Ter Statu in goal. So since he's going to be starting, that's already us 1-0 down, so we already have a mountain to climb. Oh my god, if he concedes a goal, that's his mistake. He is not making it out of the hood alive. But I think Barcelona, again, I think the mentality is going to be to bounce back. The form in the league is still absolutely fantastic. Villarreal are a very good side. They did have a week off, but this is Barcelona, and the expectations are at an all-time high. I think Villarreal are not the most clinical team in the front line. I did mention, of course, in their analysis how Ayase Perez has been really good in front of goal. Danjuma, when he was there, was very good in front of goal, but all their outlets and all their goals have come from one area specifically. Hasn't been really diverse, so that's why if we can just nullify that, make it difficult for them to score from those kind of areas, we can easily, make sure that they don't score. But I think it will be a narrow victory for Barcelona. I think a draw is definitely a realistic possibility. I don't think we'll lose this game. We could maybe draw this game 1-1 or 2-2, but I don't think we will lose this game. Again, the turnaround is quite big, so maybe hopefully the fitness levels and the match rhythm is still very much intact. But if we keep a clean sheet in this game, it will be the biggest miracle I've seen in a very, very long time in football. But I'm going with a narrow victory for Barcelona here, a win by 2-1. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Villarreal versus Barcelona in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed. The main thing, firstly, of course, is your score prediction. And secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, would you rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go with? You're the manager. Leave me all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me, watch the game with me, follow after the match by my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we can pick up the form and momentum. If we can keep a clean sheet as well, even better. But with their statue playing against us, we do of course have a mountain to climb. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and Forza Barca. Yeah.